Lola is helping me plant some dahlias today. She is such a good helper. You're such a good helper, Lola. So we're putting them in the new bed here. As I dig the holes, I'm putting a pinch of my favorite fertilizer and also a couple tablespoons of alfalfa pellets. This will be a good nitrogen source for the dahlias as they are growing. Also, it was supposed to be overcast and cool. It is not. So we're gonna try to get these 24 dahlias in today, and then I want to get some cucumbers and stuff planted that I haven't got around to yet, and our squash. And then we are pretty much, we have the large dahlia bed to still tackle. It's a disaster. It's gonna take a while. So I'm putting some of the larger plants in here. You can see most of them are pretty large. And then the other ones, they'll have a little more time to grow up in their pots before we get them into the big dahlia bed. Being a good helper. Are you being a good helper? Yes. She's a little bit of a silky baby. Good garden buddy, though, aren't you? Lola's over there wearing herself out, being ridiculous. But we're weeding out a lot of last year's kale. So there's new baby stuff coming up. I'm gonna thin this out as well. I did the other side already. It is going to open up this area. I have some snapdragons that are just getting shaded out. So see, they're stretching. So we're getting this all cut back, and got a big giant bowl of kale there. And honestly, this is some of the cleanest kale I've ever grown. Like, there are hardly any bug damaged bits. It's pretty awesome. I think it was good timing on the BT application. I did it when I sprayed for leaf moths. I've definitely seen some leaf moth damage though, so I didn't have the timing quite spot on, and we've had some rain, so it's hard to keep those products applied when, you know, the rain washes away the spray as soon as you spray it. So it's good for like up to a week if it stays dry, but if it doesn't, you should spray more often. And I definitely haven't been doing that. I've sprayed twice about 10 days apart. Obviously that's not enough. So I'm gonna up my spray schedule here because it's almost scape season. And last year we lost about half of our scapes to the leaf moth damage. So I definitely don't want that to happen this year. So, but the first task of the day is to get the kale dealt with. This is what we're dealing with. This is the before. And believe it or not, we're gonna fit like 50 dahlias in here. The problem is all these self-seeded cut flowers. That was Orlea, this is Nigella. There's some, oh, I'm blanking on the name of that right now. But a lot of it needs to come out. I'll leave what I can. Get my drink. Get my dog. Time to clean this up. What you doing, Lola? What you doing, babe? Lola, are you a pretty girl? All right, we got her done. I did leave as many cut flowers as I felt like I could. Maybe some more of the nigella needs to come out. But once we get to planting, we'll get that figured out. I even found a couple Bells of Ireland tucked back in here. I haven't even planted those in 2 years, so that's crazy. But yeah, it's getting there. Next I'll try to loosen up and clean up the edges of this bed, and then we will get around to planting dahlias. Happy it's done. We're back at it again today. I took a little break yesterday to spend the day with some friends. It was really nice. It's really warm today. It's totally the afternoon. I shouldn't have waited till now to do this, but I'll show you what we're doing. I'm just using a pitchfork to basically use it like a broad fork and loosen up the front couple of feet here where I'll be planting dahlias. So I haven't done this side yet. This bed needs to be edged too, but I'll worry about that after I get the dahlias in the ground. But you can see I've just lightly loosened it, and I'm gonna get that finished, and then we'll start laying out stakes. Okay, Lola's checking out my work. I've got the back row of poles in. They're in 2.5 feet from the edge of the grass. I think that should be enough space to put another row in front. I'll plant right in front of these stakes, put another row, and then plant another dahlia in front of those. You can see I've got them roughly in the curve of the garden. Lola! She's digging, she's helping. Lola! Are you helping? Los, are you helping? She's a good hole digger. If I could just get her to dig in the right spot, we'd be set. Also, I think we're going to be able to save most of the cut flowers. They're inside that line. The nigella is blooming. Very pretty. And the Orlea is just going gangbusters. So next step will be to get that back row of dahlias in. So surprise, I didn't get everything finished yesterday. So we have everything lined up for the back row. The size of the pots has to do with the size that the tuber was, not the size of the plant. So you can see the size difference here. You'll also see I have a tag that will go in the ground with the name, and I also have a tag like this that I will put around the stem if it's big enough, and I'll put on the post if the plant isn't big enough. As I go through, I'll also be checking if I pinched the top of the plant. So you want to do 3 or 4 sets of leaves. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can go ahead, this one has not been pinched, and I can pinch out this growing tip. A lot of times when I've pinched it, I've just thrown it in the pot so that I know that I've done it, and it's easy for me to just quickly look and tell. But I'll be doing that as we plant. Here's one that I did pinch. You can see there, and you can see that it's putting out new stems on either side of where I pinched it. So we'll get planting. Okay, back row is in. I've got a drip hose that goes most of the way. The soil is very dry, but the last 3 it wouldn't reach, so I'll have to hand water those guys. Okay, so it feels really good to get that row in. While I was planting those, I did see some earwigs, which have been a problem here in the past. And I also saw quite a few like cutworms and grub type things, which have also been a problem here in the past. Didn't see any wireworms, which is good because I have had trouble with those in my dahlias in the past, but I didn't see a single one, so that makes me feel pretty good. But the grubs and the earwigs, I'm just going to watch these very closely over the next couple days. Earwigs I can handle with some diatomaceous earth so long as it's not raining or dewy. And if either of those things becomes a problem, I also have a bottle of trounce. I try not to use these kinds of things, and definitely wouldn't anywhere near like the vegetable garden, but this is just purely flowers, and I will use that if I have to. It's good for both of those things. And the one I got, you can get it in a spray bottle too, but the one I got is it hooks up to your hose and you just spray it over the whole thing. So I won't use that. That's the nuclear option. I won't use it unless I have to. But we'll carefully watch these. I have noticed it's been like 4 or 5 days now since we planted the other dahlias in the other spot, and there's only one, it was the smallest one, that has been bothered by earwigs. So I did add some diatomaceous earth, and hopefully that will take care of it. And that's where we're at right now. So I won't bore you with the second row, but I think next we'll do like a garden tour, and this will definitely be part of that. So I appreciate you guys coming along with me as we get some dahlias planted and in the ground. I hope you're having a great day. I hope your gardens are growing, and we'll see you next time.